finishing a sweep of the Pirates with walk-offs on back-to-back nights. Now the Diamondbacks come to town without their best player. Rally round your TV and see what fits into 3 hours tonight. Here we go with a new week of Nationals baseball. Diamondbacks are in town. They've had a struggle all year long after a rough start. Jason Worth back in the lineup tonight. Nats, D-backs. 6-game lead over Atlanta. The Nats have won 6 in a row. This time a week ago, they were taking a day off in New York. Maybe a little rattled by a rough weekend in Atlanta. It's been perfection ever since, FP. And not only winning ball games, but how they've been able to do that.
Yeah, dramatic fashion, walk-off fashion, taking advantage of that home schedule in the last at-bat. It started Saturday with Wilson Ramos simply trying to move Bryce Harper to third base. He hits it over Polanco's head. That was a W. So, everybody comes out, you're feeling good, you're bouncing around, you take that energy into the clubhouse. I always said there's nothing like a walk-off win to get your team rolling, to get the team close together than yesterday. One of the best games all year. Crazy game.
Nats trailed. They led. Closers couldn't do the job. 11th inning, a guy off the bench does it. Scott Hairston sitting around all day watching all the madness, and then he touches off another celebration. So the Nats have had 4 walk-off wins in their last 12, and they've had 3 recently, starting with the Bryce Harper home run on the last homestand. What does it mean to get Worth back in that lineup today?
Well, he looked good yesterday, number one. I mean, we all know Jason Worth healthy and what he brings to this ball club and the clutchness and, what he does as an offensive player. But the fact that he hit that ball so hard off the wall gives you a lot of encouragement for how that shoulder's feeling. So back in the lineup today, he takes pride in hitting third. So now you got your 3-hole hitter back, and we'll see how he feels.
Jordan Zimmerman has lost a couple of games to the D-backs in his career when he got no run support. He won a couple others when he got a little. So he's happy to have Worth back tonight. And 2.12 the ERA, last 13 starts, 80 strikeouts, 8 walks. And Jordan features a 2.92. That's the 9th best ERA in the league. The Nats taking on a rookie pitcher tonight. They got one of their aces going here. To you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you, and by Honda. A lot of celebrating around these parts lately, and here come the Nats to try to make it 7 in a row tonight. And by the way, out of their 6 in a row, and there's Jason Worth heading to right field, 4 of those have been one-run games. So character wins, tight wins, and taking ball games just about every way you can imagine right now are the Washington Nationals. Going to sprint to his position tonight. Visit trainsearch.com. Find your local Train Comfort Specialist dealer. It's hard to stop a train. Really hard. Diamondbacks are 53-71. They started the season 9-22. They won 1 home game in April. It's been a nightmare. They're on to something, though, with this young leadoff man, Ender Inciarte. 17-game hitting streak. He's hit safely in 28 of his last 29 starts. Inciarte, intriguing guy, and of course they're without Paul Goldschmidt. He's on the DL. Cody Ross, Chris Owings, Bronson Arroyo, their outfielder Pollock. It's just been a nightmare for Kirk Gibson and his ball club, and now they have to face Jordan Zimmerman for the 6th time.
Yeah, fastball 94, slider, curveball, the breaking pitches, the changeup 87 at 4% of the time. He earned the 3-2 win last start on Wednesday in New York. Allowed just 1 run on 5 hits over 6 1/3. Struck out 4 Mets, walked nobody in an 87 pitch effort. Remember Drew Storn coming in the 7th with the bases loaded and leaving everybody right where they were at. So Jordan Zimmerman only 87 pitches last time. Should be pretty fresh here today. Set the defense for the Nats. The band's back together, folks. There they are. Stamp it. Jason Worth back in right field. And the lineup's back together. So Worth excited to play, obviously.
Yeah, that puts Anthony Rendon back in that number 2 spot. Cabrera down to number 8. Bob Davidson, 26-year veteran, is the crew chief, and he's hiding behind Wilson Ramos right now. John Tumpane at first, Bill Welke at second, his 16th year, and James Hoy at third. That'll be his 7th year. Nice night in D.C. Been kind of cloudy and a little overcast all afternoon. Sun broke through a little while ago. It's a nice evening for a ball game. The D-backs are 5th in the league in hitting. They're 7th in runs. They're in the bottom 5 in home runs this year, which you would expect with Goldschmidt. Some of their other guys hurt. So here's Inciarte, the young man from Venezuela who's making big news for them offensively right now. He was a Rule 5 guy taken by the Phillies from the Diamondbacks in December of 2012. So he was on the Phillies opening day roster last year, did not play 1 inning, and sent back to Arizona on April 4th. You think they'd like to have him now?
17-game hitting streak going.
0 for 3 career against Jordan Zimmerman, who misses inside. Inciarte at 266 and 333 this month.
Hit safely in 28 of his last 29 games, so he's feeling it.
Close. Ball 3. Inciarte 13 walks, 34 strikeouts, and 263 ABs. He likes to swing the bat. You hardly ever see a Nats starter walk the first batter of a game, and it just happened, especially Jordan Zimmerman. Jordan Zimmerman this month, 3 starts. He's won 2. ERA very low. Vidal Nuno. D-backs are 0-7. He came over from the Yankees in a deal for Brandon McCarthy on July 6th. The Nats are now 7 over since the break, the best in the league. And overall, a season high 16 over. Inciarte as well can run. He's 8 out of 10 stealing bags. And the veteran Aaron Hill hits behind him. He got jammed. Pops it up right side. I think Cabrera said got it 4 times, and Adam LaRoche hurt him. That'll bring in David Peralta, another young guy, a right fielder. We're going to get to know some of these young Diamondbacks during this series. They are taking a look at some guys that were really not on the major league radar at the start of this season. Peralta's from Venezuela, and he used to be a pitcher when he was first drafted by St. Louis back in 05. Made the conversion last year. He hit 346. in single A ball, 297 at double A this year. Here he is in the big leagues. George Zimmerman steps off after Inciarte took a 2 or 3 step jump and then decided to put on the brakes.
Well, the league's starting to figure out David Peralta on this trip, throwing more breaking balls. He's a dead red fastball hitter, and he's shown he can hit at any level. Just a great story, like you said. A guy that was a pitcher converted to a position player. The Cardinals released him on May 5th, 2009. He had a 4.51 ERA. And he went to the Appalachian League and pitched for a couple more years, and 2 shoulder surgeries. Decided to make himself a position player. Went through a bunch of different minor league stops. An independent ball before getting picked up and converted himself into an outfielder now. After spending just a half a season in Double A as a major leaguer and doing well. I mean, what a great story.
Yeah, he was 12 for 30 over 9 games, and now he's 3 for his last 31. Tough for a young guy to hit third in a lineup. LaRoche short for 1. Desmond returns it. A 3-6-3 double play puts an end to the top of the first. And the Nationals, despite a couple of glitches yesterday, as a team have been playing outstanding defense and turning some pretty double plays. He was a Terp, he was a Bullet, he was a Congressman. Tom McMillan taking in a little beverage and some Major League Baseball tonight here in D.C. Glad to have him. I bet he couldn't get Denard Span out. Right now, Span hitting .351 at home. A 19-game hitting streak in this ballpark. And I guess we can jack that up to 20 games now. Hitting .422 with an on-base percentage of .449. Rendon second, Cabrera eighth. And here's Vidal Nuno. He's 27. 1-2 and 3 starts with the Yankees last year, and he came over here in a deal for Brandon McCarthy on the 6th of July. Fastball upstairs.
Now, you see him the fastball at 89. He's got a slider at 82, curveball and a change to go with it. Last start August 13th against the Indians. He got the no decision, 2 runs on 6 hits and 5 2/3. The Diamondbacks are 0-7 in games that Vidal has started this year, but he hasn't gotten a whole lot of run support. They've scored 2 or more runs in 1 time in his starts, so he's done a decent job for the D-backs.
That's at the knees on the outside edge. Denard 7th in the league at .303. He's 2nd in hits now with 143, tied with Hunter Pence, 8 behind Daniel Murphy. A little bit low and away. Good take by Denard. Gets the count to 3-1. So all the Nats, other than Cabrera, in the lineup tonight, getting their first look at this left-hander, Nuno. Cabrera 0 for 3 against him with the Indians last year. Matt Williams was asked before the game why Cabrera over Espinosa, who could have batted right-handed tonight, and he thought the experience factor of having seen the pitcher could help Cabrera and his teammates.
Yeah, fastball down. Gets the call.
And when pitch track misses one low, it's way down there. 3-2 to Span. That's an easy take, and he's aboard to lead it off for the Nats. Both leadoff men walk in the first inning.
Set the defense for the Diamondbacks behind Vidal. Trumbo and Ciarte Peralta, your outfield. Gregorius Lamb left side, Hill Pacheco right side, and Miguel Montero behind the plate.
Diamondbacks have made the most errors in the National League with 91. Cleveland the most in the major leagues with 95. So here's Anthony Rendon. He's hitting left-handers at a 307 clip right now. Batting mark at 275.
I'm watching video of Nuno before the game. He'll vary his delivery. Sometimes he picks that leg up. Sometimes he goes slide step. Average move to first base.
A lot of hitting room over on that side for Rendon. Span 25 steals, 29 attempts, 6th most in the National League. And by the way, that walk adds to his .354 on base percentage. Good idea of the curveball by Rendon. So there's that 307. 3 of his 16 home runs against the lefties. They give him left center. That's way outside, ball 2. Nuno is from San Diego, lives in National City, California, right by the border. For a while, he attended one of the smallest schools in the country, Baker University, in Baldwin City, Kansas. The entire campus is about 2 square blocks. And believe it or not, Blake Trinan is another major league pitcher in the Nats organization who came out of that tiny school southwest of Kansas City. Great jump by Span, maybe too great of one, and they've got him.
That's a balk. He stepped straight to home and threw to first. That's a balk. And they're not calling it. Tony Tarasco right now is arguing.
Look at the top step in the Nats dugout, FP.
With John Tumpain, I mean, he stepped straight home and threw to first. It's obvious. It was plain as day. And Bob Davidson, of all people, balking Bob Davidson is his nickname, didn't call it. It's not really his call. It's more Tumpain's call at first base. But watch where Nuno steps right here. He stepped straight to home and threw to first. You can't do that. You have to step toward the base. That's just a flat-out miss. I guess there goes the perfect game for the Crew.
1-3-4 on that. That was the second baseman, Aaron Hill, covering.
Most lefties predetermined. I'm either going to first or I'm going home. Every once in a while you find a lefty that's a reader, meaning that if the guy takes off, he can hang there and then he'll throw to first base. Very rare that you see that. And Nuno right there saw Denard Span go first move. He choked it off and threw to first. And I think they're waiting to see if the tag actually got in there before Denard's foot hit the bag. But it did.
Balk is not on the list of plays you can challenge, according to what we're looking at. And that's a fly ball out to David Peralta. Rendon retired, suddenly 2 outs. What an evening for Jason Worth last night. Didn't come into the ball game until late. He had walked right in the face of Gregory Polanco going to third on that base hit.
Man, came in and had a little energy to the ball club. Walked, went first to third. Hit a bullet off the fence, was moved to third. Don't forget about Denard Span's at-bat. A great at-bat move from Jason Worth to third base, setting the stage for Scott Hairston. And Jason better be careful if he keeps doing that off the bench. That's how you become a bench player. Jason Worth, pinch hitter deluxe yesterday.
Off the windup. Nuno misses away. 1 ball, 1 strike to Worth. Jason hitting left-handers, .340 this year. That's the 5th highest in the league. Young pitcher working quickly now that he got that second out. And it's 0-2 as he really floated a changeup away. Chris Johnson, David Wright, Goldschmidt, and Giancarlo Stanton, the only hitters with higher averages against left-handers than Jason Worth. They are underway in Pittsburgh, and the Braves have 4 runs in the top of the first at PNC Park. Worth a swing and a foul tip into the mid of Miguel Montero. So each team gets a leadoff walk and only sends 3 men to the plate. No score, first inning of the series.
Tomorrow, 7:05 start against the D-backs. The first 25,000 fans will receive a Nationals tote bag presented by Kaiser Permanente, and my partner is standing up modeling it right now as I speak. This giveaway will be distributed at all gates while supplies last, and please tell me the robo camera got that.
Tote bag night.
That was priceless.
All right, quit pouting. The guys will get some runs tonight. Yeah, come on, it'll be all right.
That was great.
Top of the second, here's Mark Trumbo. He's had 13 RBIs in his last 12 games. Guy the Diamondbacks have been waiting for this year. Young man of lots of talent. Drafted by the Angels originally, and came over in part of a 3-team deal with the White Sox and the Angels. Drove in 100 runs in Anaheim last year. He's been beat up. Then he gets under that one and pops it out to center. And now it's going to just stop and come straight down to Cabrera. Obviously short center. And here comes Montero.
Well, this was the Diamondbacks opening day lineup, and they have been just crushed by injuries. Pollock out, Parr out, Goldschmidt got hit by the pitch. I thought Pollock was one of the best center fielders in the National League, or one of the best young center fielders from what we saw when we were in Arizona. So Kurt Gibson's team has just been decimated with injuries.
And we talked about Trumbo. He's been beat up as well. Right now, Goldschmidt, after breaking his hand on August 2nd, on the DL. Trumbo had a right foot stress fracture from mid-April to mid-July.
Miguel Montero just almost bunted a triple.
Montero 4 for 14 career with 3 doubles, a walk against Jordan Zimmerman. He's hit safely in 7 of his last 9 games. And a ball fouled back. Miguel Montero, one of the Diamondbacks, signed by Mike Rizzo, who was with that organization for 7 years and had them ranked right at the top of Baseball America's list of organizations for developing talent. Brandon Webb, Mark Reynolds, Chad Tracy, Justin Upton, Stephen Drew, Dan Uggla, Connor Jackson, Miguel Montero among the players signed, some as amateurs and some of those guys as free agents to build the Arizona organization. All time, the Nats lead the series 34-27. Won 2 out of 3 in Phoenix way back in May. 11-8 all time at Nationals Park. And Jordan Zimmerman blows away the Arizona catcher. First strikeout tonight.
You see the fastball elevated. Montero late. Good job of getting out of that strike zone. The Diamondbacks know that Jordan throws strikes. They're coming out hacking. That's the game plan always against Jordan. And I feel like a lot of his starts are determined on when he can throw balls, not so much strikes.
Next up is former Rocky Jordan Pacheco, combination catcher infielder who hit .236 for Colorado in 22 games, got hurt, right shoulder, and the Diamondbacks picked him up, hitting .228 on the year, and he's won for his last 13 with Arizona, .214 in 22 games. They really had to patchwork their ball club together here. They have a better road record than home. 4 under on the road, 14 under after that horrendous start at home. 0-2, and Jordan took him upstairs. And a ball to left. Bryce Harper cruising in for it. Jordan Zimmerman showing some overpowering stuff early. Arhanda Dua lead off bottom of the second. Adam LaRoche 8th in the league in on-base percentage, 4th in walks. They go hand in hand, and hitting .316 in a robust August.
McLeod, who got an MRI arthrogram today on his right shoulder, which has had him on the DL for the last couple of weeks. What they do for an MRI arthrogram is they inject a dye into the joint, and that gives the doctors a little better idea on the MRI what exactly is going on inside that joint. The Nationals haven't liked how McLeod has progressed from this injury over the last couple of weeks, and they're concerned that there's some type of long-term issue at play there. And so with that in mind, they signed veteran outfielder Nate Shearholz to a minor league deal today. Shearholtz will report to AAA Syracuse tomorrow and get some at-bats after getting released by the Cubs on August 13th. He struggled with the Cubs this season, but he hit 21 homers last year and is a career .287 pinch hitter. And Matt Williams noted today that should Shearholtz get called up, he would give the Nats more of a left-handed presence on the bench, which they've lacked right now since McLeod has been out.
Yeah, 48 career pinch hits, 4 of them home runs. That ball tagged by LaRoche to deep center, and it is caught right up against the wall by Inciarte. First out, bottom of the second.
Ball struck right there. Inciarte making a nice play. I thought that was over his head. LaRoche has been swinging the bat as good as anybody on the Nats lately, and Inciarte in a ballpark for the first time acts like it's his home ballpark, and Fidel Nuno knows he got away with one. He got bailed out by his center fielder with a nice play. LaRoche did everything he could.
Here's Ian Desmond, and back to Nate Shearholtz for a moment. That Pete, not only what he brings to the table offensively and off the bench, but one of the great outfield arms in baseball as well. This will back up Peralta. He's right there, and a guy you know very well.
Yeah, a guy I coached in A-ball for the San Jose Giants, and above average runner. Got a great arm. He'll be good off the bench. And sometimes just getting a rut in the ball club you're with, you need to change the scenery. But Nate's a good player. Good friends with Kevin Franzen. Their families are close. Their wives are close. So, you know, the clubhouse thing, that's going to be easy. Nate's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. But a good addition to the ball club, and a guy that probably won't just come off the bench. I would imagine he start a few games here and there, giving guys days off. He's a good player. Just needs to make a few adjustments in his swing. I talked to him when we were in Chicago, and he said that he had tinkered so much with his stance and his swing this year that he kind of forgot where he started. So, you know, Rick Shue, that great coaching staff of the Nats, get a hold of him. I'm sure they'll tighten him up, and he'll be a great addition. It's a sneaky good sign again by Mike Rizzo.
Yeah. Well, there's another one right behind Rick Shue as Drupal Cabrera. Bryce Harper here with 2 outs. Ramos on deck, then Cabrera if the inning makes it that far. Harper hits it sharply to his right. Aaron Hill. He's always been a good second baseman in his days with Toronto and now in the National League. Dollar hot dogs tonight. They have locked me in the booth, so a game to call. You all enjoy. Now baseball around these parts becoming a family affair. Dad likes Bryce. Little guy likes Bryce. And Bryce just hit the ball sharply, but he was retired. We go to the top of the 3rd inning. Jordan Zimmerman, 21 pitches, 13 strikes. Jeep takes us inside. The numbers, strikeout to walk ratio. Clayton Kershaw, another list he's on top of, but 2 Nats in the top 4. And Doug Fister knocking on the door. He'll get some more innings to qualify for a lot of different stats on the National League pitching ledger shortly.
There really isn't a stat for what Doug Fister did here yesterday. They don't have numbers for that. Getting out of that bases loaded jam with nobody out, giving up just 2 runs when all heck was breaking loose behind him.
Well, the pitchers around the plate and guys are hacking. That's rookie Jake Lamb bouncing out to Cabrera.
Yeah, I'm slowly coming around to the whole analytic part of the game. I think it's very useful, but where's the stat for what he does every 5th day when a lot of pitchers would melt down, and that would be a 5, 6, 7 run inning. He got out of that with just 2 runs given up, and with everything that transpired in yesterday's game, to me that was the most impressive thing that happened.
Unbelievable intangibles that guy brings. Here's Didi Gregorius, the shortstop. And he's down to 220, 1 for his last 25. Started with the Reds a couple of years ago. They gave him 20 at-bats in 2012. He was part of a 3-team trade. With Arizona, 3 pitchers went to Cleveland, and Shin-Soo Choo went to Cincinnati. Gregorius 252 for the Diamondbacks last year. Off the hands. Cabrera can't quite get there. And the D-backs will have their first base hit with the pitcher coming up, 3rd inning.
And just right off the hands. Good effort by Cabrera. Gregorius will take it every single day and twice on Sunday. That's a thing.
Nuno, big league hitter, 0 for 6. But he has laid down 5 sacrifice bunts. Bunts it hard, too hard. Rendon to Desmond. And out at first. 5-6-4 with Cabrera on the receiving end of a bunt double play.
Well, the behind the back double play might have been fancier yesterday, but this is prettier. Watch this. Rendon with a quick throw. Desmond turned it like a second baseman. And how about Ian Desmond? It seems like the last 3 double plays he's turned at shortstop have been feeds around his ankles or below. He just keeps going down there, getting it, not worrying about anything, and turning the double play. That was nicely done.
Turn back on the music, boys. The inning is over. Kirk Gibson came out for a look, looked into the dugout, and with the Masson theme in the background, pretty on the double play. Three in New York and 3 here against the Pirates. Ramos, Cabrera, Zimmerman due up bottom 3. You may donate new unwrapped toys when the Nats host the Toy Drive Wednesday. Collected toys will be distributed to nonprofit organizations and hospital pediatric wards in the D.C. area by the U.S. Marine Corps Reserve and the Toys for Tots Foundation during the holiday season. You can drop them off Wednesday at the center field gate starting at 4:30 and do that through the 3rd inning. Put some smiles on the faces of youngins here in D.C. this holiday season. Help us out at the ballpark this Wednesday. It'll be for a great cause. Wilson Ramos, one of the many weekend heroes for the Nats. He had 4 hits and a couple of RBIs in that Pittsburgh series. And a big ouch at PNC Park tonight, where Hayward and Simmons homered in the first. The Braves put 6 on the board against Vance Worley to give Ervin Santana a huge lead. That ball skipping down near Ramos' feet. Big breaking ball strikes out Ramos.
I'll check out the afternoon of Asdrubal Cabrera yesterday. I talked to him about this double play in the dugout. I said, have you done that before? He said, yeah, 3 or 4 times. He's done it from shortstop, actually, going up the middle before. So it's something he didn't really think about, just a reactionary play, but he got the big knock to tie it at the bottom of the 9th after the Jason Worth walk. He had a nice day yesterday. He's fitting in very nicely as a Washington National.
That he is. That ball scorched into right center by Cabrera. And with Peralta up with it in a hurry, he'll settle for a base hit ahead of the pitcher here in the 3rd.
Just a nice piece of it. And I think that's the way you have to approach this left-hander today. Just let the ball get deep, try to go the other way. The Nationals have been doing that all season long, and took a little longer than you thought it might tonight, but there goes the Nuno hitter. Line drive to right. First knock of the night for the Nats.
Jordan Zimmerman, 7 sacrifice bunts this year. This is one time where the bottom of the inning does not need to parallel the top. It's happened twice already today.
But you see where Nuno's stepping right now in his throw versus Cabrera. That's nowhere near where he stepped on Denard Span. And there's the the mythical 45-degree angle, whatever, but he stepped straight to home. I mean, that was just blatant.
Zimmerman deadens it, and they're going to go to second base. Only difference between the top of the inning is
Cabrera's hurt.
Zimmerman able to beat it out, and Asdrubal Cabrera is in pain, face down near second base.
Well, Gregorius waved out Lee Kuntz immediately, and he was slapping the ground. Cabrera was. I think he might have got kicked in the face.
Lee Kuntz grabbing him above the right elbow there.
I'll be surprised if he didn't break his nose. He got kicked right in the face by Gregorius's. It looked like might have been his shin, his ankle, or shoe. It was somewhere in the lower leg region. As he jumped to get out of the way, Cabrera slid right into his left leg. Oh, he's got that look, right? That concussed look. Watch this. Watch his face right on the, what is it, shin, ankle area? Oh. And thank goodness he turned his head right there at the end, or it might have been worse. So got him in more of the jaw than the nose, the side of the head. Watch this. And it looked like the ear flap might have provided just enough protection. But he's definitely groggy. I was thinking ankle or worse, so hopefully it's not a concussion. Hopefully he gets back in there tomorrow. Hopefully he stays in there right now. He's not officially out of the game.
A decision would have to be made at the end of this inning, and Lee Kuntz will continue to visit with Cabrera. Top of the order, Denard Span. Spain walked first time, and then on a questionable move by the pitcher, picked off. And the 0-1 to Denard to the right side for Aaron Hill. Washington stranding its first base runner tonight onto the middle innings. No score. Got a consultation at the end of the inning in the dugout with Matt Williams. This is just a few moments ago. Lee Kuntz within earshot, and he says, I'm good to go.
Tough. I like it. I mean, this is a serious collision. And I'm sticking with just the little bit of ear flap might have saved Asdrubal Cabrera from a worse fate. I mean, it looked like it got him in the jaw, right? Right around the left cheekbone. I thought it was his nose originally. It looked like a direct hit. You can see he's still trying to. Probably got a fat lip working. Making sure his teeth aren't loose. Taking an inventory.
Wow.
Stay in the game. You gotta love that, right?
Didi Gregorius helping out in that situation after he felt the contact and getting the trainer and the manager out there, and then giving Asdrubal about 3 or 4 pats on the back with his glove at the end of that play.
Big Marine's got it like that. Second baseman shows some serious toughness.
Top of the 4th, Ender Inciarte for the D-backs. He led off in the first and was erased on the 363 double play after walking. Starling Marte has just hit his 7th home run of the year. In the bottom of the 2nd, the Pirates are on the board. This fly ball will move Bryce Harper back just a bit. Quick outs for Jordan Zimmerman, who's thrown only 27 pitches in this game, and he has 10 outs.
All right, tweet your photo using hashtag #MASSonFanPhotos for a chance to have a show in a future broadcast. That is brought to you by AT&T.
Aaron Hill. He was swinging early in the count when he popped up to Cabrera, first inning. '11th year in the big leagues for Hill, 7 of those with Toronto. Former SEC Player of the Year and All-American at LSU after he didn't sign with the Angels, who first drafted him back in 2000. He's had 4 career hits against Jordan Zimmerman. 32 years of age now. He had a 5-pitch third inning because of that double play.
Well, there are some rumors that Aaron Hill might be coming this way in a trade around the trade deadline, but you talk about the contract and how much he has left on it in the season he's having in Arizona. Not the typical Aaron Hill numbers that you're used to. Just 10 home runs, 245 average coming into this one. Talked to Diamondbacks people too, and his defense has been down, which really surprises me. When we were in Arizona, he made 4 or 5 unbelievable plays at second base. And throughout the years, he's been a solid second baseman defensively.
Yeah, he's just one of those good fundamental guys. All-star game and a Silver Slugger back in 09 when he hit 36 home runs. Drove in 108 that year for the Blue Jays.
And he's hit for the cycle twice. Who can say that?
How about Michael Kadire yesterday? Now he's done it in both leagues. Only the 3rd player ever to do that. Rockies broke the Reds' hearts yesterday. Here's the pitch track on the entire AB from Mercedes-Benz. That ball hit hard. Anthony Rendon right there. 2 down. Zimmerman on the attack. And he's got them putting the ball in play.
Wow, Ian Desmond bobblehead. I'm in. And I want 1 or 2 or 3. August 21st, 4:05 start. Remember the start time. It's presented by PNC. First 25,000 fans, you get an Ian Desmond bobblehead at all gates while supplies last.
Thursday afternoon. If you get that bobblehead and take it home, it'll be there every day. You'll have to hide it to give it a day off. There's the right fielder, David Peralta. And into that 3-6-3 double play to LaRoche first time up. And a fastball away. Jammed. Soft liner right at LaRoche. And Jordan Zimmerman continues to get quick outs tonight. Rendon, Worth, and LaRoche straight ahead. Bill, but he gets back up. And tonight, no pierogies, nobody jumping off tables, no lobsters, just racing. And number 3 has him dancing in the streets down in Charlottesville and Monticello tonight.
Well, update. Teddy's won 23 races. Abe has won 16. Bill 10. Tom 9. And George bringing up the rear with 7. For those of you at home that keep track in your Bob Carpenter scorebook.
I hadn't thought of that, but it's a nice thing.
Yeah.
At home, Honda do-ups and what the guys 2, 3, 4 have done this year.
The second time around, they figure out a guy they haven't faced before.
30 pitches, 19 strikes for Nuno. First 3 innings, giving up 1 hit, 1 walk. 2-0. He's been keeping the ball down. Although he does have 3 fly ball outs, and LaRoche almost hit 1 out straightaway center.
One thing you have to guard against today if you're the Nationals is coming off a big weekend series with huge crowds here at Nats Park against a really good opponent. Every single game was amazing, and you get that big adrenaline rush, a lot of energy spent to come from behind a couple of days in a row.
Rendon trying to drop one into right, but no carry, and Hill has it.
You really got a fight coming out flat on a day after that. I mean, it's natural that you would have a little of that going on. But I just thought the weekend series, by far the best I've seen. When you talk about 2 teams not giving up. First night, Pirates didn't give up. They came back, made it close, had the tie and run on third as that game ended. Second night, Nats came back from a 3-0 lead and won that ball game. Adam LaRoche with a home run to get him back in that one. And then yesterday, both teams would not quit in an epic battle.
Well, the Nats recently have had a ball game when they made 3 errors in one, and then yesterday that nightmare 6th inning, and they won. And by the way, over 113,000 people who came through the gates this weekend would agree with you. What a series with the Bucks. And Worth will just reach out, get the barrel on it, and hit it out to center. He had designs on second base and comes to the sliding stop as Inciarte got it back in.
Well, Jason has some serious fresh legs. We saw him sprint out to right field after a week off. And then watch him have notions of a double right here. Just getting it out of the batter's box, take a huge turn at first, and then goes into a slide to stop himself. He's feeling 26 today.
Here's LaRoche, who hit one very deep, right at the 402 mark for Inciarte, first time up. Nissan tracks this.
A little slider, first pitch, 81, right on the black.
And another.
Now, a little trick you can do with a lefty that you think might read the base runner at first base. If you're the runner, just kind of take off, see if he throws over. Just give him a fake break. After all the talk with Denard Span, you might coax a balk.
Fastball. So he slides LaRoche twice and then goes with the heater. Strikeout number 3.
Oh, right on top of the last pitch, wasn't it? Look at all 3 pitches. All right there. Same location, down the way. Check that baseball. A little scuff on it right there. Did you see that? Right there. Nice get right there. See that? As he turned it? I don't know where it hit the dirt, but it's got a scuff on it.
Here's Desmond. Short lead by Worth. And Ian takes 76 that misses.
There it is. Look at that. And ball hits the dirt. It's out of the game. Could have been on the throw down between innings. If you're leading off an inning, I know I always leading off an inning. Used to look at the throw down from the catcher to second. If it's short hop to the middle infielder, I'd say check the ball. But many times guys are getting loose, donuts, pine tar. They're not really watching the throw down to second base.
Right side of the infield off the bat of Desmond. Looking into the twilight, Pacheco comes back to one hand the fair ball. Bats quiet. Zimmerman, Nuno dueling well.
Marlins. No scores. We head to the top of the 5th inning with 3 hits in the game. Guess what we're going to show you? No, not pitchy. We're going to show you some defense because there's been some good plays. First little 3-6-3 job. Me and Desmond doing a nice job of digging that out, getting it right back to Adam LaRoche after he makes a nice pick on the grounder. And this one's nifty. Get rid of it quick. Me and Desmond fielded another feed right around his ankles, turns it nicely. So some nice double plays. Building on the behind-the-back Magic Johnson double play that his Dribble Cabrera did yesterday.
Yeah, and the Nats have turned 102 on the year now. Yeah, that time Desmond taking a throw from a side of the infield where the second baseman usually takes it. So let's see if Jordan Zimmermann is working with a scuffed baseball here. Anybody skip one? Say threw around the infield, and FP, of course, the reason hitters don't want to be facing a ball that's got any defacement on it. Why is that?
A veteran guy or a guy that's been around, you put the scuffs on one side, you make the ball move the other way. It's almost like the holes on a wiffle ball. If you get a good enough scuff, you can make it do weird things. You'll see pitchers throw it out from time to time because they don't know which way it's going to go and it affects their command. But you get a crafty veteran out there with that ball and he'll make it dance, he'll make it sink. That's why anything that hits the dirt, they throw out. I'm sure a lot of people knew that, but I'm sure a lot of people didn't. Is that Masson, Dan?
I don't know, but I think this pitch, don't throw it, Dan. It'll be in the red loft. 2-1 pitch to Mark Trumbo. And Zimmermann throws it by him with an 88-mile-an-hour breaker. He's got great stuff tonight.
Now, you say stuff like that to Masson, Dan, he'll drill you. I've been around him long enough, and you start popping off saying he's going to give up a homer in the red loft, he'll stick one right in your ribs. He's not afraid, that kid.
I'm not sure he has a credential to get up here. Go anywhere else. Trumbo, Montero, Pacheco. Jordan Zimmermann, first 4 innings, 39 pitches, 26 strikes. The Mercedes-Benz will show you everything other than one pitch, middle, and then weigh in. Second leadoff walk issued by Zimmermann tonight. Inciarte in the first, Trumbo in the 5th. That'll bring in Miguel Montero, the catcher. He's been an Arizona regular since '08. Out of Caracas, Venezuela. Signed with the D-backs at the age of 17 by Mike Rizzo back in '01. It's been a pretty good Iron Man for them. 140 games in 11, 141 in 2012. And his 108th game of the year tonight.
And Jordan asked for that miss, and Bob Davidson emphatically threw his arm in the air and said, "That's up."
(2-0). Base hit. LaRoche couldn't get there. Runner had to hold up. Trumbo didn't want to get hit in the spikes by that ball. And the Diamondbacks have 2 on. Nobody out. First time either team has had 2 base runners in any inning tonight.
I just fell behind 2-0 and put a fastball in the inner half, and that's exactly where Miguel Montero loves it. Used the hole provided by the leadoff walk. Now the Diamondbacks, who have at times this year had trouble scoring runs, you wonder if Kirk Gibson's going to think about a bunt.
He's got a batter in there, one for his last 14, Jordan Pacheco, a rookie on deck. who's 7 for his last 33. They're going to lay down a bunt. That's a beauty. Zimmerman with the bare hand to LaRoche. 1-3, and the runners move ahead.
There's all the talk about not giving up outs in baseball today. This puts so much pressure on a ball club. When you have first and second, nobody out, you lay down a good bunt. Now it's second, third, 1 out. I just think that's good baseball. And apparently I'm old-fashioned now.
Here's rookie Jake Lamb, former All-American out of the University of Washington. He drove in 84 runs at AA, AAA combined this year, and the Diamondbacks called him up 11 days ago.
He may not get a better pitch than that one right there. I was right down Broadway, and he took it.
Number 7 hitter, batting .219. Time requested and given.
Well, that was a big prospect for the Cubs. They called him up in 2012. He didn't do a whole lot. And Dave McKay was with the Cubs when Lamb was there. When he was available, they said, let's get this guy. He's got some talent. McKay compared him to a young Larry Walker when he was in the minor leagues. But he's had a lot of trouble striking out.
.0-2. Zimmerman goes with the high heater, trying to get that pop-up or the strikeout.
They go with that slider at the back knee, an 0-2 count. Usually the out pitch for Jordan.
.020 D-backs, 0-2-0 Nats. Top of the 5th. Long look at the second base runner, and not surprised the time was asked for again.
That's a good 0-2 pitch right there. Made him flinch, threw it up, changed his eye line. Now you go back down and see what happens. That's a big out. You could think about pitching around Didi Gregorius to get to Vidal if you get this out without a run scoring.
Then a 1-2 pitch lifted to center. That's going to send Span far enough to move 2 runners ahead. Diamondbacks take the lead as Jake Lamb gets his 3rd big league RBI.
Well, it's a good at bat, and that's good baseball by the Diamondbacks. Get him on, get him over, get him in. Kirk Gibson's club doing it right. Sack fly, sack bunt.
Number 8 hitter Didi Gregorius.
And watch out for the bunt right here.
Yeah, he can bunt for a hit. This guy can fly. He got jammed first time. Dropped one over Cabrera into right center.
That might have been a 90-mile-an-hour slider from Jordan Zimmerman.
And this one back, Ramos a look and over the screen by a couple of rows. Kirk Gibson's ball club 16 back of the Dodgers. 18 under 500 after a nightmare of a start to this year. And here's the 0-2 with 2 outs. Fastball up. Leadoff walk comes back to Hurd.
And Jordan tying his season high in walks already in this game with 2. It's pretty good. Got your season high.
He had done it 5 times before tonight. In fact, in his last 3 starts, hadn't walked anybody, and went 0-0-1, 0-0-0 his last 6 starts. Desmond has to hurry. He gets the job done on that. And the Diamondbacks will manufacture a run after the leadoff walk. Bryce Harper leads off, bottom 5. Bryce has been on base 6 games in a row. 16 of his last 20. We're still waiting for the big explosion. Signs of it lately with some balls driven deep. Alfonso Soriano on his way to 40-40. That was steal number 30. An inning earlier, he had led off the game with his 30th home run. Actually, his 39th home run of the year. So that's the night he made it to 30-30 with the steals. What a year he had. The Nats beat the Phillies that night in Philadelphia 6-4. Looking back a long, long way, 8 years ago.
My, how times have changed.
That they have. Nats have 69 wins right now. That was their 54th win of the year that night. Bryce Harper swing and a miss. Bottom of the 5th underway. And Vidal Nuno continues to impress. 4 innings. No runs on 2 hits, a walk. 43 pitches, 28 strikes. Target way out there. Diamondbacks appeal a swing, and James Hoy down at third says no.
But when you think of some of the Nats series this year against opponents with bad records, and there's no other way to put it with the Diamondbacks. And they came out against the Cubs in Chicago and Wrigley and lost the first 2 games. They went out to Denver against the Rockies and lost a couple of games. So Matt Williams' squad has had trouble with some teams they shouldn't have early in series, but in those 2 they rebounded nicely.
Harper with a hot shot to right. He's going to run hard to first. They're going to throw, hesitating, and now he's hung up. Bryce Harper is going to lose himself on the bases there, playing a cat and mouse game with David Peralta, who did a fake throw and then hung him up. 9-6.
A good swing by Harper, but it went far too wide around first base, and you see Peralta having a long way to go. He's playing at right center, and he fakes to first, goes to second. And another base running mistake by Bryce.
Yeah, he thought he was going to throw in behind him so he could go to second.
I mean, there's a time and a place for that stuff. What I call the opportunistically aggressive. But you really can't force it on a consistent basis at the highest level. Teams know to expect that from Bryce now, and they're ready for it. You're not really going to ambush anybody with trying to take an extra base. They know.
And as usual, after something like that happens, next guy gets a base hit. Wilson Ramos 1 for 2. That'll bring in Cabrera, who has a hit.
When Bryce first came up as a rookie in 2012, he took the league by storm. People didn't realize he was like that on the bases, and they had never seen stuff like that. So when you're playing a ball club for the first time, and it's been years since they've seen a guy run the bases so aggressively, he took the extra base, and it was a shock to everybody. Well, the word's out that he's going to try to take the extra base, and at the highest level with the best defenders, more times than not, you're going to get caught.
And that ball was right at Peralta in right, even though he had to run in for it. So here's Cabrera. Neil Walker is at a homer in Pittsburgh. Bottom of the third. Braves 6, Pirates 2. Inside edge with that pitch. It's 1-1 to Cabrera, who, by the way, when he got that base hit back in the second, actually third inning, that was his first hit right-handed as a National. Reaching for that.
It goes back to Matt Williams' philosophy about taking a stolen base when it's there and not forcing it. And the same goes for taking the extra base when it's there and not forcing it. When you think of great base runners throughout the history of baseball, guys like Larry Walker come to mind. They would always take the extra base when the opportunity presented itself, when the guy put his head down, when there was a bobble in the outfield, always round the base hard and looking for that opportunity when it's there.
Oh, what a stop by Gregorius. And the throw all the way across to get Cabrera. That's as good in the hole as you will see by a shortstop.
It was good for a number of reasons. Gregorius is playing double play depth, so he's shallow to start with. That decreases his range, and he has to kind of dive toward the left field line. Gets up, and look at the arm. Cannon right on the money. Big high hop laying out. Gets to his feet quickly, right over the top with a four-seamer, right on the money. That's a nice play.
Ramos in scoring position. Jordan Zimmerman, fielder's choice on a bunt first time, and he takes a heater in there. So the Nationals 3 hard-hit balls this inning, and only one man remains on base. That'll miss away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jordan 1 RBI this year, 12 in his career. Nats down by a run, bottom 5. And a good job by Zimmerman of staying alive on that curveball.
Man, you look at where the Diamondbacks outfield are right now. Base hit is not going to score Wilson Ramos, but a ball in the gap will, or a ball down the line will.
And Zimmerman can't get that. Bryce Harper ran himself out of a hit. The Nats get a couple of hits, strand a runner. They left 3. 1-0 into the 6th. Cabrera still in one piece. He's 1 for 2. He's hit the ball well twice tonight. Robbed of a hit by Gregorius a moment ago. 1-0 game into the 6th. First 25,000 fans receive a Curly W t-shirt presented by American University Friday. Nats Giants. It'll be at all gates while supplies last. Get your game tickets. 202-675-NATS or visit nationals.com/tickets. Haven't seen the Giants in forever either. They're hanging in there. 3.5 back of the Dodgers, who just suffered their first sweep of the season at the hands of the Milwaukee Brewers over the weekend. Vidal Nuno, first pitch, 6th inning, ball 1. Here come the Pirates. Another run in the 4th. It's now 6-3 Atlanta. Braves had 4 runs after 1 out in the 1st and scored 6 in that inning. And the Buccos are fighting their way back. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hard hit just outside the bag. Diamondbacks box score. Well, they only have 2 hits tonight. The leadoff walk to Trumbo in the 5th. The Montero single. The Pacheco sacrifice. The Jake Lamb sacrifice fly got him on the board. And now Nuno gone. Strikeout number 2. Jordan Zimmerman. Nissan will track it.
Little slider down and in over the top, strike 3.
Top of the order. Ender Inciarte with a walk, 0 for 1, flied to left last time to Harper. Marlins, the only team in the division not playing tonight. They host Texas tomorrow. Mets lost this afternoon to the Cubs, and the Phillies have a 1-0 lead at home. 0-2 pitch. Well hit to center. Denard Span right there. Next 5, 3 of them against Arizona. Night games Tuesday and Wednesday. Strasburg, Chase Anderson tomorrow. Tanner Roark, Trevor Cahill Wednesday. Gio, Wade Miley Thursday. Before the Giants come in for their only visit this year.
The Beast coming back to D.C.
Michael Morse. I think Lincecum won yesterday, right? So maybe he'll pitch Friday or Saturday.
I would imagine Michael Morse would get a big ovation his first at bat back.
Tim Hudson, we're told, Friday. Oh boy. That'll be some great pitching matchups in that series. How about Tim Hudson and Doug Fister Friday night?
A lot of ground balls.
Fastball in there to Aaron Hill, who has popped out and grounded out. Jordan Zimmerman 2-2 career in 5 starts against the Diamondbacks. And the 2 games he lost, no run support at all. Hopefully that changes tonight, and it might quicker than we thought. Top of the order coming up. Bottom of the 6th, Denard Span. A walk, 0 for 1 tonight, followed by Rendon and Worth. is presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals. Here we go, bottom 6. On the grass at third, Jake Lamb. Even with the bag at first, Jordan Pacheco. And Denard Span, first pitch, fly ball left field. Trumbo, long way to go. Nobody will get there as it drops into the first row.
Pretty good hustle by the Diamondbacks shortstop right there. He went a long ways for that and gave it a good run. I like to see guys playing hard like that.
And Denard up there ripping. Nats box, 4 hits. Single by Cabrera in the third. Fielder's choice bunt by Zimmerman got him. Worth single, stranded in the fourth. Harper and Ramos back-to-back singles in the fifth, but Bryce and that rally snuffed out when he tried to go to second base. Target away. Span strikes out. Doesn't happen often. He's 0 for 2 tonight. It's number 5 for Vidal Nuno.
All right, see if this pitcher's got some runs in it. We promised you early in the game. Here's your AT&T fan photo. And it looks like they're keeping score, and I don't think those are your scorebooks, partner. I don't know what we're going to have to do with those two. But they got the right uniform on, the right colors on.
It's okay, they're into the game.
Yeah, they are.
We're trying to keep the art of scoring ball games alive.
I took it to a whole new level yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, some organic level that's never been seen with all the changes. And
you're like writing pow, bam, boom on your card?
No, just, it's a long game, lots of changes defensively.
Pirates had 1 player left on their bench when the game was over, and so did the Nats. Catchers, Chris Stewart and Jose Lobaton. Rendon, power zone. 1-1 pitch. And Nuno had him reaching there a bit. Anthony has hit a fly ball to center, popped up to second. And that is just beyond the reach of Pacheco and the line. Anthony's going to check his bat there. Made a funny sound down around the end, but it's okay. And that's more than okay. A very cool souvenir.
Some natty dudes checking it out.
And I always like it when the one kid's happy for the other, because you know it's killing him. Everybody wants the baseball. Hopefully they'll get their shot. 1-2 with 1 out. And Rendon did not go. John Tumpane, first base umpire.
Well, he's by far the best on the Nats of holding up his swing once he starts to go. I mean, it just takes some strong forms to stop that swing once you start it. That's why it was so weird the other night, Sunday in Atlanta, when he got called for the check swing. He didn't even go, not even close. Went much farther on that one.
Off speed, Rendon gets it by the mound. Gregorius on the run, using his quickness to finish off that play. 2 down. He's having quite a game, huh?
He's having a nice night with the glove at shortstop. Once this ball bounces one more time right there, I thought Rendon had a chance, but charged it hard, got rid of it quick with something on it, looks it right into his glove. Kind of a nasty in-between hop, but another nice play from the Diamondbacks shortstop.
Here's Worth. Base hit up the middle. A little shade toward left center last time up. So Jason, since coming back, 4 plate appearances, a walk, a double, and a single. .90 in there, 0-2. Vidal Nuno, 27 years of age, making his 25th major league start. Very impressive. Career record of 3-10 with a .453 ERA. Worth is gone, so are the Nats in the 6th. He is commanding some edges of the zone. Beautiful night. Mr. Lincoln presiding over the National Mall, and we could use his help right now.
Everyone taking pictures of something in the stands, using their cell phones. DC area Toyota dealers want to help children and their families by making a donation of $37 to the Children's Inn at NIH for every strikeout by a Nats pitcher this season.
Peralta, Trumbo, Montero, top 7. Jordan Zimmerman, 71 pitches, 47 strikes, 9 on the ground tonight. Pitch count so good because he has the Diamondbacks putting bat on ball and letting his defense do its thing. That is good jammage for a pitcher right there. There's LaRoche, 1 out.
Above average jammage there.
Inside the numbers with Jeep. So the Diamondbacks, who a couple of years ago were the most swing and miss team in baseball, now put the ball in play with their swings just a little higher than the Nationals and St. Louis and Philadelphia and the Mets.
I think Denard Span has skewed that stat by himself.
0-1. This one in the air. A chance. It's coming back. LaRoche is there, and he's got it right at the barrier. 2 down.
Good job by the fans over there letting Adam LaRoche make that play. So give them an assist. They see their first baseman coming over. He takes a peek. And look at him get out of the way. It's perfect. Nicely done to let LaRoche make the play. He's got a beat on it, too. Look at that. LaRoche called him off nicely.
Great communication.
And somebody in the Harper family peels off and then calls him out. Look at that. That was great.
Now that is being a fan.
That was a great fan. Did you see him peel off right there? He had a beat on that.
Yeah.
He was looking at a souvenir. And look at even the usher coming over saying, thanks, set away. Good communication. I like the out call. It was old school. Nicely done.
1 ball, 1 strike to Montero. Singled last time. That was the base hit that set up the Diamondbacks run after the walk to Trumbo before the sacrifice by Pacheco.
Yep. He should be digging himself. He's checking his phone right now. They're talking about you. You can't do it any better as a fan right there. He wanted the ball. He had a beat on it. He called LaRoche off, and then LaRoche called it, and he said, you know what? You're playing. You have priority over me.
Yeah. The professional gets anything he can reach.
Right. It's like the center fielder.
Yeah.
He has priority. The guy in the field always has priority. And struggling Texan. Now look at that. One finger. It's all right.
Right side, base hit. About a 12 hopper by Montero, and he's 2 for 3. That'll bring in Jordan Pacheco with 2 outs. Here in the 7th, only Arizona's 3rd hit. He has flied to left and sacrificed. Moving Trumbo to 3rd, Montero to 2nd with that bunt back in the 5th inning. One of the biggest plays of the game. Jordan Pacheco, longtime Rocky, former Mountain West Player of the Year from the University of New Mexico, his hometown, Albuquerque. And hits it hard to center. Span froze for a moment, grabs it. And this game is at the 7th inning stretch. Sponsored by Hyundai. Beautiful night here in the nation's capital. The dome all lit up. Nats trying to do the same to the scoreboard, but it's been a struggle. Shut out on 4 hits so far. 4, 5, 6 coming up. Brought to you by Ocean City, Maryland. Put your vacation days to good use in Ocean City, Maryland. Book now at OCOcean.com. And this is becoming a clinic on how to be a great fan over on the first base side.
Well, it's a great out call. Old school right there. You got the thumb out and everything. How often do you see the thumb out on the out call? But I'm thinking, based on what we're going to show you here in a second, that it's a good thing that Adam LaRoche called him off. because between innings they tried to throw him a ball and
clink.
Oh. So yeah, and he gave it to a kid, so that was great.
Shift is on, and it takes a hit away from LaRoche. That's Aaron Hill out there in right field.
Yep, they just showed you dropping one.
It's a fleeting thing, Fame. Here's Desmond. Fly ball to right, fly ball to the first baseman. And by the way, Vidal Nuno, 70 pitches in his first 6 innings tonight.
Well, he just got the slow delivery, kind of lulls you to sleep, and that 90 looks like, based on swings, that it's playing a little bit harder, kind of getting on you.
Longest outings of the year, twice he's gone 7 for the Yankees at the White Sox, May 24th in a 4-3 win. And then July 8th, first start, a 2-1 loss in Phoenix against Miami.
He's kind of reminded me with the sneaky fast of Wei-Yin Chin from the Orioles that night when he was throwing 90-91 but blowing it by Nats hitters, and they all said the next day that it really jumped on you and exploded, and he has the slow delivery and comes at you real hard at the end.
3-1. Nats need base runners any way to get them. Denny and Desmond does take ball 4. First runner since the Ramos single in the 5th following the Harper base hit. So here comes Bryce. Second walk of the night for Vidal Nuno. First time up, Bryce robbed of a hit. Aaron Hill going hard to his left. And then Bryce, the base hit, leading off the 5th, decided to challenge David Peralta, who threw him out at second base. In the dirt, ball 1.
Bryce was putting on a display in BP today, going upper deck and right center, all the way to the back row. Almost hit a few up on the concourse.
Late breaker, 82 away. And then a fastball up in the zone, 89 away. And now Bryce Harper probably feels like he's got a lot to protect on a 2-strike count.
Well, he's been nice to the glove side all night. Nuno has. I mean, he's just keeping the ball down and away from lefties. He's keeping the ball down in general, and he's hitting his spots. Going out there again.
Yeah, maybe a little further out. Harper can't get it. 90 upstairs, 2 down, 7 strikeouts for Vidal Nuno.
This is great command of all pitches. I'll show the pitch sequence to Bryce Harper. First pitch goes slider in the dirt. Then another slider down the way. Paint on the black at 89, and then paint again at 90. So everything away to Bryce. Kind of falling out of there again, and they went to the other side of the plate, but good execution of the game plan by the Diamondbacks left-hander.
Ties this season in career high in strikeouts. Struck out 7 in that first start against Miami. And by the way, that was Mercedes-Benz tracking the entire at bat there. His high strikeout total for the Yankees, 6 on 2 occasions. So the young man in some uncharted waters tonight, taking on a red-hot team on the road and shutting it down so far. Ramos base it up the middle last time.
Got a pitch.
Yeah, sometimes you watch Wilson Ramos and you wonder how can he reach that outside pitch. He gets those arms out there and drives it like he did for the game winner the other night. A runner at first, 2 outs in the 7th. One of the better hackers at home this year for the Nats. Ramos 5 homers, 30 RBIs. And back in there, Desmond.
Do you see John Payne's position right there? I mean, his nose was right in the play. He's in foul territory, on a knee, looking right at it.
Yeah, he's one of the minor league call-up umpires who works in the big leagues from time to time. We've seen him, I don't know, probably 3 series or so the last 2 years. And a 1-2. Ramos hits it well to center. This ball is gone! Right over the 402 mark. The Nationals take the lead. A laser from the catcher.
You know, when he originally hit this, I thought, hoping it doesn't bounce out and then Ian Desmond can score from first. They want a curtain call. They want to see the Buffalo on the top step. Give them the horns.
And Cabrera stepped out so that could happen. Now as Drupal bats, I mean, is there anybody in baseball stronger than Wilson Ramos when he gets hold of one, because he just overpowered that ball?
He did.
Now Cabrera to deep short. Gregorius to the backhand side. A quiet night at the ballpark until about 1 minute ago. Wilson Ramos, his 6th of the year. RBI total shoots up to 31 and 32. And for Wilson Ramos, one of the most impressive balls he's ever hit. 41st career big league home run. And I mean big.
Yeah, suddenly out of nowhere, with a bolt to straightaway center field, the Nats take the lead 2-1, and it was a 2-1 slider, and Ramos catches it out front. And this might have been the lowest, hardest home run we've seen this year. Straightaway center field, and I'm telling you, Carp, I thought, you know, is this going to bounce off the track and stay in so that Ian Desmond can score, or is it going to be a second and third? 2 outs. It stayed in the air long enough. The Buffalo coming through big time and makes this a 2-1 ball game. How about that?
On my very unofficial, non-electronic stopwatch, I had that at about 4.5 seconds to get out of this ballpark.
It's a bolt.
Unbelievable power. Here we go, 8th inning. Jordan Zimmerman was on deck when that ball left the yard. He throws his 83rd pitch of the night, takes on Jake Lamb, who's 0 for 1 with the sac fly. Ball 2, and he sure doesn't want to walk. A third leadoff hitter tonight after that happened. Didn't get the call, 3-0. Gregorius with great speed on deck and a really good bunter. Diamondbacks bullpen busy with a couple of right-handers. One who's given the Nats fits. No swing, ball 4.
Well, that's the last thing you want to do when you take the lead. Third walk, that's a season high. Washington Nationals tweeting, since the birth of his daughter, Wilson Ramos is hitting .324, 2 doubles, 2 home runs, 6 RBI in 9 games. And they hashtagged it Baby Buffalo. I love it. Great tweet. All right, remember, Washington, D.C. Lexus dealers are donating $250 to the Children's National Medical Center for every home run a Nats player hits this season. So keep them coming. It's for a wonderful cause. Lexus, the pursuit of perfection.
Last thing, as you said, Jordan wanted to do right there. 3 leadoff walks tonight. 1 has scored. Now you've got Gregorius coming up. Blindingly fast. Good bunter. And then a former Nats nemesis, Xavier Paul, has stepped to the on-deck circle for the pitcher. Drew Storn, Matt Thornton working. Diamondbacks bullpen, Will Harris, Brad Ziegler. Jordan not going anywhere for now. Steve McCaddy might be waiting for Bob Davidson to arrive.
He is. He's trying to get his bullpen loose and give Jordan Zimmerman a rest, all the same. The longer you can stay out there as a pitching coach, that's why he is back to home plate. They'll tell you, come on, let's go. They'll clap their hands, and you have your back to them. It makes them come all the way out there, tell you, okay, let's go. And it gives Drew Storn and Matt Thornton, 2, 3, 4 more pitches.
Yeah, tremendous arms out there. See how Kirk Gibson plays it here.
And based on how he's played it already, you think he's going to bunt, but you never know.
Target in. Gregorius didn't square. Pitch was heading up and away. He ID'd it quickly. Jordan's having a hard time at times tonight getting over the top of that fastball. He's just a guy you never associate with possibly walking his way out of a start.
It's a guy you never associate with getting tired either, and the Nats fans are trying to cheer Jordan along right here. That's nice to see.
And he gets in the strike zone.
You go hit and run right here if you're feeling frisky. Pretty good chance you're getting a strike.
Didi Gregorius has hit into 1 double play this year. That had to be a 1-hopper right at somebody. That's off to the left side. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nice job by the crowd of getting behind Zimmerman here in the 8th inning.
I was just about to say that. I really, really like that. And they knew he was scuffling. They knew he's kind of reaching the end of his rope. And all of a sudden, a groundswell of cheers in a 2-0 count has gotten it back to 2-2. Now they want a strikeout.
And a chopper foul.
And from a player's perspective, you hear that and you love it. And it does help.
Two short lead by the runner. And ball 3 and a ball skipping in. Picked well by Ramos.
A good pick by Wilson, but a big miss right here from Jordan. It allows Kirk Gibson to start the runner if he has confidence in his hitter putting the ball in play in a one-run game.
Left-handed hitter Xavier Paul on deck. There's Nissan with the entire bat. Runner aboard, nobody out, 8th inning. He's moving, and Gregorius hits it well to right. Worth can only watch it, and Arizona is on top. Didi Gregorius with his 5th home run of the year. The 12th of his 3-year big league career. And the ballpark is shocked. Another leadoff walk comes back to really hurt Jordan Zimmerman. Changed the whole inning.
I'll tell you what, Didi Gregorius has been the best player on the field tonight. Made some nice plays at shortstop, and now on a 3-2 pitch, hits a 2-run homer in the Nats bullpen, and the Diamondbacks take the 3-2 lead.
Matt Williams is a couple of steps, and here he comes. Zimmerman will go 7+ and give up 3 runs on only 4 hits. But 2 of the runs coming after leadoff walks. Jordan deeply disappointed, had the lead, and now Arizona back on top. Walks much of anybody, 3 of them tonight, all leading off innings, 2 of them score. And I guess when you're a first place ball club and you've won 6 in a row, you're getting everybody's best bolts, and we're on that roller coaster thing again tonight.
It's just been a weird night at the ballpark after all the craziness that ensued yesterday. You know, I was wondering coming to the park today if there would be a lull, kind of a flat feeling after, exuding so much energy mentally, physically in yesterday's game. And it's been a little weird. Jordan Zimmerman never walks 3 hitters. He hasn't done it all season long. And to have a guy that's hitting 8th with only 4 home runs take you deep, it's just been one of those weird nights at the ballpark. But saying that, the Cardiac Nats have been in the house lately, so this one far from over.
Xavier Paul facing Matt Thornton for the first time. Only hitting a .43 this year, .259 career hitter, and parts of 5 years with the Dodgers, Pirates, Reds, and now the Diamondbacks. I think it was last year in Cincinnati, had some big pinch hits against the Nationals in a series there. And he signed a minor league contract with the Nationals December of 2011. Hit .315 at Syracuse after 60 games and was released. And then landed with the Reds in their Louisville ball club, their AAA. 2 balls, 2 strikes. On the corner. Matt Thornton continues to impress.
Just darting that outer half. Everything up and then whoop. And 95 on the black. Not a whole lot you can do with that pitch. I don't care who you are.
So one former Yankee pitcher, Nuno, 2 runs, 5 hits in 7 innings with 7 Ks. And now the former Yankee, Matt Thornton, pitching so well for the Nationals. On a bunt attempt by Ender Inciarte. Counts even 1-1.
Well, trying to bunt 96 is never really a good idea. It's hard to deaden it. Even if you're bringing it with you to second base, it's going to come off your bat hot.
That'll back you away. 2-1. Right-hander Brad Ziegler. He's their setup guy for their closer Addison Reed, who has 29 saves. Bouncing ball left side on the charge. Desmond. He played that well. 2 outs.
And Potomac Nationals, summer home for the future stars, your Washington Nationals. Check out a few games at the Fitz. Call the number on your screen or go to PotomacNationals.com.
Aaron Hill has faced Matt Thornton in the American League. Hill with Toronto, Thornton with Red Sox, Yankees, and the White Sox. And he's 1 for 3 with a double and 2 walks against the Nats left-hander.
You might see Matt Thornton some save opportunities coming up for the Nationals. When you talk about the load that Soriano's had this year and how he's had a rough go of it the last 10 days or so. The times that Soriano has the rough outings are when he's gone 2-3 days in a row. I know there's a lot of talk after yesterday's game about a closer change, but that'd be a panic move. When you're 16 games over 500, you got a 6-game lead in your division. You really don't want to disrupt the chemistry of your bullpen. It's been pretty solid all season long and one of the best bullpens in baseball.
On a well-hit ball, Worth over to get it. And Matt Thornton comes in, puts out. A bit of a fire in the 8th inning. Now the Diamondbacks on top, 3-2.
To the bottom of the 8th inning. Show you some home runs have been the story of the game. It was 1-0 in the 5th inning, and then all of a sudden Wilson Ramos comes up, and the Buffalo goes straight away center field, a laser beam in the bottom of the 7th to make it a 2-1 game. You're thinking, okay, Nats bullpen's got this, and Jordan Zimmerman's got this, but Didi Gregorius has been all over the field tonight. Made some nice plays at shortstop. This one in particular, probably one of the top plays tonight in all the highlight reels. And then on a 3-2 pitch, gets a fastball down and in. And a low liner into the Nats bullpen makes it a 3-2 game. That's where we're at. Kevin Franzen about to lead this thing off in the bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, some night for DD here in D.C. There's Brad Ziegler. Get ready for some sidewinding action here.
Yeah, two-seam fastball, sidearm delivery, 85 miles an hour on average. Slider and a changeup to go with it. 63rd appearance of the year. Lefties hitting 179. Righties a little bit better at 273.
Franzen 1 for 2 career against him, and Kevin coming off a 4 for 6 series, both as a starter and as a pinch hitter for the Nats against Pittsburgh. He put a charge into a couple of ball games in that weekend series. He bats for Thornton.
Well, he's the energy off the bench. There's no doubt about that. I remember he had that big home run in Arizona to win the game off the bench for the Nats.
That was in the top of the 9th. On Monday, May 12th, Nats started that series that night and won it 6-5 thanks to Kevin Franzen. And he hit that off of their closer, Addison Reed. That actually was the game winner. Danny Espinosa had homered earlier in the inning to tie it up. Oh, 2 pitch. Had him reaching, and a ball that'll play for Trumbo. 1 out, bottom 8, top of the order coming up. Well, you made a good point, FB, about the bullpen as a whole, because if you take Soriano out of the closer's role, what do you do with him? And then that shuffles everybody else around.
Well, if you think about it rationally, you liken it to a really good hitter, say, Anthony Rendon going 0 for 20. You have your highs and your lows throughout the course of a season. Right now, Soriano's having a low. And you also kind of compare it to making a quarterback switch. The backup quarterback's always the most popular guy on the team, right? Everybody wants a backup quarterback in there when the quarterback's scuffling. You make that move, now you lose your quarterback. And if the backup guy doesn't get it done, your starter's not going to be the same guy. So, it would take a lot more than what's going on right now for the Nats to make a change with their closer. And I think if you do it right now, it's definitely a panic move, and it's something.
Great swing, Denard Span.
You show your whole ball club that you're panicking.
This will be his 34th double of the year. Tying run at second base with 1 out in the 8th. And Denard Span has 144 hits. What a good swing the other way.
Yeah, pretty swing. I mean, that's as good as you can hit one in the gap to left center. He takes the sinker the other way. That's all you can really do. Brad Ziegler wants you to roll over on that. And you remember early in the season, Denard Span was rolling over everything, hitting ground balls to the right side. He's made the adjustment, hands inside the baseball. You see the sand kicking up from the new side. But tying run in scoring position, and here they come.
Anthony Rendon 0 for 3. Again, Ziegler career 1 for 3 with a double. That was Denard Span's first career hit against the right-hander. Rendon, fair ball, right field corner. The game is tied. He might be thinking 3, The ball deadens in the corner, and he will be safe at third.
You get that feeling as a ball club when you've come back a bunch of times that it's just going to happen. It's a matter of when. And the Nats have that feeling more than any team in the big leagues right now, that if they're behind, they're going to find a way. And after a double by Denard Span, Anthony Rendon goes down the right field line. As soon as that ball got all the way down the corner, you're thinking triple. And Anthony Rendon with a head-first slide. You never see him do that. And a clutch one-out triple here in the 8th inning to tie the game at 3.
Hey, you talk about fans. There was a young fan down there who had a glove, could have reached out and touched that ball. When the young man pulled his glove back, that gave Anthony Rendon third base. Here's Worth trying to get the Nats back on top, and the Ziegler Frisbee is way outside.
These guys just have the feeling right now. It's something you wish you could bottle and keep all season, and yeah, it's an attitude, or whatever you want to call it, but they got it.
Worth takes a fastball in there. He is 2 for 6 career against Ziegler with a base on balls. 1 for 3 tonight. Montero has to really reach for that.
I'll tell you, whatever crowd is here tonight may be just as loud as the full houses that were here this weekend right now. They've been fantastic. From cheering Jordan Zimmerman on from a 2-0 count to willing some runs across the plate. They've been loud and into it, and the Nats are going double barrel in the bullpen right now.
Looks to me like Tyler Clippard could be the closer tonight. Worth to left center. The ball will be caught by Trumbo. Here comes Rendon. The Nationals are back on top.
Clutch. Hey, that's not an easy thing off Brad Ziegler to elevate a ball and get it out there. And this place is going nuts. Listen to it.
21,292, sounding like 31,000 tonight.
Hey, I'm telling you, infield in, good sinker ball guy. That's not a given that you get a sac fly right there. Jason Worth doing a nice job of digging that out, getting it to the outfield, and give Anthony Rendon credit for scrambling back to third and tagging up. You know, they having fun? You having fun yet, guys? Lots of smiles in the first base dugout. Why not?
Here's LaRoche 0 for 3. And again, Ziegler career 0 for 2. This is a pitcher who's one of the better 8th inning guys in the league. Hard to hit, hard to center with that delivery of his. And Span and Rendon and Worth all hit the ball beautifully.
So infield's in, you're looking to elevate. You see Worth just kind of reaching out. You know, that swing right there is the one that's really been bothering his shoulder. And Trumbo had a little difficulty in the lights, made the play, but Bryce Harper on the top step, pumping fists. Hey, they're having fun. We're having fun. Everybody in D.C. having fun watching this ball club. They are the talk of baseball. And Jason Worth rallying them. Look at that Doug Fister. That's great. Got a little friend with him.
Tyler Clippard alone on the mound in the bullpen now. LaRoche strikes out. Here we go. Top of the 9th. The last 3 outs of a ball game have been tough for everybody to get in this park lately. Tyler Clippard has 34 career saves. They play at Chase Field. This is Chase Anderson. Rookie is 7-4. 2-0 in his last 6 starts with a good ERA. And Steven Strasburg beat the Mets on the road last week. Did not give up a run. Struck out 8 in 7 innings. He'll be looking for number 10 to even his record. Johnny and Ray from the ballpark at 6:30. Nats Extra. Masson Game 2 tomorrow night. Catch all the second half action. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service. Every out-of-market game live. True HD on over 400 devices. Visit nationals.com. Denard Span with 1 out, double left center. Rendon also the opposite way, triple to tie the game, and then Worth pulls it into the gap and gives the Nats a 4-3 lead. Here's Tyler Clippard, 1 save this year in his career 34.
Getting the ball in the 9th inning. Giving Soriano the day off with the fastball, curveball, changeup split combination.
First pitch changeup right in there to David Peralta as they face each other for the first time.
Tell you what, we've had some games lately that have just been absolute nothing going on for about 6.5 innings, and then all heck breaks loose after that, and they turn into the most exciting games of the year.
Yeah,
they've been fun to watch. Been some good baseball, some entertaining baseball. Here comes a split,
and that ball is going to tie this game off the facing of the second deck. And a crowd delirious a moment ago is shocked again. David Peralta, 6th home run of the year.
That ball's crushed off the facade, still going. Clippard just left the split right out over the middle, and you see it tumbling right onto the barrel of David Peralta, pulling his hands in, and this was a no-doubter. Watch where this hits. Facade of the upper deck, ricochets down, back into right field, and this game's tied.
6th big league homer for the rookie. Going up swinging, Mark Trumbo, Jason Worth. 1 out. Tyler Clippard went off speed 3 times in a row.
I think he went curveball, split, and the split was hanging. Sure, he wanted that thing in the dirt, and he left it out over.
This ball well hit to right, and Worth can't get it. Miguel Montero hooking one into the corner for a base hit. He's 3 for 4.
I think everybody learning right now that those last 3 outs might be a little harder than you would imagine.
It is not by any means automatic, no matter who's out there. Oh, they're going up hacking. Denard Span broke back. He's got to come in. He's there. 2 outs. Bottom of the 9th, by the way. Desmond Harper Ramos. Diamondbacks warming up a couple of guys. And the hitter will be Jake Lamb, who's 0 for 1 with a sac fly and a base on balls. Outside with the Clippard fastball. Well, the Diamondbacks, 3 of their 4 runs in the last 2 innings. The Nats, all 4 of theirs in their last 2 times at the plate. .2-0 pitch. And the changeup missing, ball 3. Well, as FP said, the best player from start to finish on the field tonight is Didi Gregorius. And he's waiting if Clippard loses Lamb here. He hit the big 2-run homer last time up. And the Clippard 91 heater for a strike.
I challenged him with the fastball, and the fastball count, and he was late. I don't think there's any need to get tricky right here in a 3-2 count. Montero get a head start. Throw the same pitch.
Runner going, out of play, left side. And the 3-2 out in right field. Cabrera, top of the 9th, over.
Maybe Massendan will get wet again today. Let's see.
We'll see. The Nats have 3 outs to go to try to walk off again. Desmond Harper Ramos.
And the fans in the ballpark like this all night long, huh?
Yes, sir. Hills and valleys for sure, Johnny. But I like our chances. I like the fact that we come back. It's the bad guys 4, the good guys 4, and the good guys are right now hitting.
You're not kidding. So we've seen Bob and FP pull some of these babies out before in the last of the night. The Nationals tonight trying to make it 3 consecutive walk-off wins.
Well, let's do it. The only thing keeping us from is somebody touching that plate. So let's get it rolling.
Let's go right back upstairs to Bob and FP.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Ray. Bottom of the 9th coming up, and what a seesaw it has been lately, mostly on the good side, starting with the Ramos walk-off the other night.
Well, it's been a walk-off festival here in this homestand. The Nats with 6 walk-off wins this year, and 2 in as many days. So first it was Wilson Ramos, then it was Scott Hairston scoring Jason Worth, and I think they had, I want to say 13 in 2012, and that was tied for the most in Major League Baseball. Right now they have 6, and they are looking for 7 here tonight.
Oliver Perez has been in the big league since 2002. He has had what you would have to refer to as a checkered career. At times good, at times very much the other way. Signed a big contract years ago with the Mets. They paid dearly for that, and here he is at the age of 33 working out of the Arizona bullpen.
Yeah, 53rd appearance for Perez. The ERA is sparkling at 2.11. And look at righties hitting 182 and lefties 267. Strange.
Ian Desmond is 1 for 4 career against Perez. Tried to bring that breaking ball back to the corner and missed.
That's the slider at 79 is what it averages. And the fastball is 91. 2 pitches. That's it.
Taking his shot at 79 and missing. 1 ball, 1 strike.
When you're on the streak that the Nats are on right now, even though that was a little punch to the gut on that home run that tied the game, in that first base dugout, you're thinking, who's it going to be tonight? That's the thought process. It's not if, it's when, and you start thinking who it's going to be. It's been a different guy every night.
Fastball outside. Had some pop at 91.
Perez is kind of scaring me with that little turn he does. Little Louis Tiant move he has.
Perez has kind of reinvented himself the last couple of years. 2.12 ERA 2 years ago for Seattle, 33 games. 61 with the Mariners last year and a 3.74. And as you mentioned, the good numbers with Arizona. So he's not been a starter in 4 years now at the big league level. 2-2, target in. Desmond takes it just off the plate.
It's a good pitch, good miss. It's right where he wanted it. Perez going to take a big stroll off the mound. Way back on the grass, 4 or 5 steps. Wondering where that one was.
Four game, bottom of the 9th. 4-7-0 Nats, 4-6-0 D-backs. Desmond strikes out. The next 2, Harper and Ramos, neither have faced Perez.
Now this one, top of the strike zone. Desmond can't catch up.
It's 4th time in 5 career matchups that Oliver Perez has struck out Ian Desmond. So here's Bryce, 1 for 3 tonight.
Interesting, no turn right there from Perez. Just a standard wind-upper out of a stretch move. Didn't turn his back to Bryce.
Harper trying to keep that front foot in there, but it wouldn't stay. And he throws the fastball by him. 2 outs. Wilson Ramos. Last time up, a dramatic 2-out homer in the 7th to put the Nats ahead 2-1.
There's certain times late in the game where, you know, you try to do too much and you're thinking, I'm going to end this game. But if you got 2 hits and one of them's a home run, you're feeling pretty good about your swing. And I guarantee you Wilson Ramos is thinking one thing. Let's go home.
That was a breaking ball. And a bouncer right side. Extra innings again. Drew Storen will be next for the Nats in a 4-4 game. At home, they've won a couple in a row at home. Arizona 10-4, and here comes Drew Storen.
Fastball slider change. Fastball 2-seam, 4-seam in the mid-90s. 47th appearance for Drew. 1.60 ERA. Righties, no bueno. Lefties have a chance at 2.62.
For the Diamondbacks, in the 10th, Didi Gregorius leads off. They have Alfredo Marte on deck. And then Ender Inciarte. Storen and Gregorius facing each other for the first time, and a strike to the outside corner. There's that changeup, 86. Turned another one over on him. It's right back to Drew. Long underhand toss for the first down.
That was awkwardly long. That was like 2 steps off the mound underhand toss.
That was like horseshoes right there.
Drew Storen just played cornhole with that one.
The hitter will be Alfredo Marte. .43 at bats for the Diamondbacks last year. He made the opening day roster. Hit a .186. Spent the rest of the year at AAA Reno. This year at Reno, he hit .319 and was called up less than a month ago. Drew Storen with a good hard breaking ball.
Drew Storen could have done this with the rosin bag and he would have been playing cornhole. Look how far that one goes. It's an out. I'm not going to like you for saying that.
Then Storen has a good hook going tonight. No balls, 2 strikes. Marte, he's been a good pinch hitter, 4 for 11. A home run, 4 RBIs. On 0-2, Storen goes with the high fastball to show him 96.
High fastball might need to get back to that slider away. A couple of shakes.
That is a changeup that just dove right back into the strike zone. 2 down. Nasty.
What's interesting about that is Wilson Ramos put down slider. He was thinking like I was thinking. Then he put down fastball. He finally got to the changeup. So 3 shakes to a changeup for strike 3 just goes to show you how much confidence that Drew Storen has in that changeup, and that maybe it's officially become his out pitch and not the slider.
Here's Inciarte, who's 0 for 3 with a walk tonight, facing Storen again, like the other guys in this inning for the first time. Diamondbacks are playing with a short bench. Cliff Pennington, a switch-hitting infielder, the only player they have available other than their backup catcher, Tuffy Gozwich.
Let's see, about 5-2.
That ball drilled to left center. It's going to plug the gap. Inciarte can run. Heading for second. He'll stop there with a 2-out double right in front of a veteran hitter, Aaron Hill.
Nice swing right there by Inciarte. He was thinking about 3, but with 2 outs, he thinks, I better stop at second base. I'm going to score on a single anyways. But shooting the gap, and he was getting it coming around first. You can see the wheels on display. Right here, he's thinking, should I go 3? Now I'll take the 2-out double. I'll score and not. Nice swing, and now Drew Storen faces a tough hitter.
Aaron Hill, 0 for 2 career with a walk against Drew. And that ball took a long hop on Ramos, and Wilson able to glove it. And FP, that's important with the way Drew Storen will on occasion throw that slider in the dirt.
Yeah, and that's just athletic ability right there by Wilson Ramos. He went to the backhand and may have got a hair lucky right here. He just stuck his glove out, ball went in there, and it keeps Inciarte at second base.
Wow. Two and 0. And the next batter, the guy that hit one like a rocket last time up.
Well, heads up on the green light right here from Aaron Hill.
Yeah, this Peralta.
Maybe hunting a center cut fastball. Won't be surprised if he hacks.
Runner going to third, and he goes there on a walk.
It didn't seem like Drew had a lot of interest in Aaron Hill, even though he had a left-hander on deck.
Stolen base number 9 for Inciarte. Left-handed batter, David Peralta, who appears to have made a brilliant decision to stop pitching and start hacking. I mean, that ball he hit in the 9th inning off Tyler Clippard, one of the hardest home runs we've seen in this yard this year. Tyler had gone 50 games since April 11th. Justin Upton, the last man to homer off Clippard. shinned him, and the ball is foul. A foot, maybe two, from the right field line. Boyce Thornton got inside, and Peralta got his hands inside.
It was a little bit elevated, and that's how Peralta got the lift on the ball, and he muscled it over Adam LaRoche's head, and you were sitting here wondering, is this ball going to hit chalk or not? See, it's up, and that causes the ball to be elevated, and it just misses foul. That's inches.
Oh-2 count. Same count as his last at bat, and he'll pull it to the right side. Cabrera has it, and this one's going to the bottom of the 10th. Drew Storen a scoreless inning. Cabrera, the pitcher's spot, and Span coming up.
Give yourself a few more gray hairs tonight. We're going to show you what this game is all about. Now it got to 4-4. Is about a home run or two or three. First, Wilson Ramos in a 1-0 game takes a 2-1 slider, drives it straight away to center. Buffalo showing the horns. And then Jordan Zimmerman the very next inning on a 3-2 fastball to Didi Gregorius. Gives up a homer. That made it 4-3. The Nats would tie it and go ahead, and then this bolt off the facade. And that's where we stand. Tie ball game.
Fourth Arizona pitcher, right-hander Matt Stites. One national has faced him. Happens to be the leadoff man, Cabrera, here in the bottom of the 10th. And Stites, his 23rd appearance, .479 ERA. And the league hitting .256 against him.
Pretty good fastball, averaging 96 miles an hour. 23rd appearance for Stites. Slider 86, changeup 87. You see 18 strikeouts and 10 walks.
Another one of these young guns, his 4th professional season.
Lefties 138 average. You see that.
And he goes with the slider and misses. Padres drafted him originally a couple of times on the DL. Then he came over in the Joe Thatcher, Ian Kennedy deal, trading deadline last year. Outside 2-0. Cabrera 0 for 1 against him. Saw him in the American League in an interleague game and grounded out. And he bolts the fastball at 97. Right over the inside corner. It's amazing how, as the night goes on, they throw harder and harder. Braves, by the way, picked up a run. They lead the Pirates 8th inning, 7-3. And Cabrera with a nice rip, and it's 2-2. Outside, 3-2.
Big pitch coming.
Number 9 spot next, a guy with power and speed. And this Asdrubal Cabrera ruins a strike on 3-2. Cabrera hits it well to center. Going back in Ciarte. He'll catch it 385 feet away.
I'll tell you what, the more you see Cabrera, the more you like him. He's just giving you good at-bats. You know, going deep into a count, putting the barrel on the baseball for the majority of the time, and drawing his walks. Just gives you good, solid at-bats, it seems like, every single time.
Michael Taylor got called back. He was going to bat had Cabrera reached, and so it'll be Scott Hairston.
He's a walk-off hero last night. Sacrifice fly to left. I was shocked that Martinez made it this close. He cut the ball and it kind of ran up the first baseline. I didn't think he had that kind of arm, but the craziness ensues. Everybody gets wet, and they're hoping to do the same here tonight.
It was Scott Hairston's 5th pinch hit RBI of the year yesterday.
I mean, extra inning baseball now in the big leagues is just waiting out a bullpen till you get a guy in there that doesn't throw a billion, and then you got a chance to win.
Yeah. Nasty on the slider, 86, counts even, 1-1.
And what you have to stay away from, and it's easier said than done, is trying to play long ball. And that's how you get into the long baseball games that drag on. Just play for one run. Do what you can to get on, get over, and get in.
87 straight down.
Especially at home, there's a tendency to be the guy to hit that ball in the stands and walk a team off, and you can get into a home run derby that lasts a long time and get away from what you do and makes you successful to win baseball games.
And Hairston will try to run to first. Montero pops out to throw him out, 2 down. Well, he saw some nasty breaking stuff in the dirt, that AB. It'll be Denard Span with 2 outs.
Yeah, 7 out of his last 8 outings, Stites. They've been scoreless. He's on 1.29 ERA in the last 7 innings he's pitched.
Denard 1 for 3, walk, double in the 8th that led to the game leading rally. Craig Stammen is warming in the bullpen, and the reason he's available 2 days after going 3 innings is because he only threw 31 pitches in those 3 innings Saturday night.
Now that means a gamer.
Fastball, a beauty, 1-1. Matt Stites, University of Missouri, former All-Stater in high school in that state. Originally drafted by the Cubs, didn't sign. And Span a rip, and it's 1-2.
Trying to figure out how this guy is a 4.79 ERA coming into tonight with 98.99, a nasty slider.
No kidding.
Maybe somebody else has given up his runs.
Span hits it really hard. Didi Gregorius has been fantastic tonight. The Nats go 1-2-3 in the 10th. On to inning number 11. 4-7-0 each team. Can't get enough lately, and Craig Stammen will be the 5th Nationals pitcher of the night. Coming off a fantastic outing on Saturday when the Nationals beat the Pirates 4-3. He went 3 innings, gave up 1 hit, no runs, no walks, struck out a couple, and then he got things set up so the Nats could win it later on the Ramos hit. So right now, Blevins, Detweiler, Soriano remain in the bullpen. First up will be Mark Trumbo facing Craig Stammen for the first time. Oh for 3 with a walk, a run scored tonight. Had him reaching. Ball hits on the plate, high in the air, and goes foul. 2-2. This guy might be the key to their offense next year if he can stay healthy. Hit 95 home runs in 3 years with the Angels, including 34 last year with 100 batted in.
I'm just in such a tough division. I don't know. I mean,
that's a tough, yeah, it's a tough pitching division, the visiting ballparks you have to go to, other than Colorado. Stammen, it hits him, goes to Desmond, and Ian had no chance to throw out Trumbo at first base. Craig Stammen's taken his share of comebackers this year.
Well, he's not in a real good position to field right there. He's got his back to Trumbo. Desmond makes a Hail Mary effort. Can't come up with it. I think Trumbo would have been safe either way. So leadoff man aboard here for the Diamondbacks in the 11th.
They had their leadoff man on, or rounding the bases 3 of the last 4 innings. Miguel Montero is 3 for 4 tonight, and he's 4 for 6 career against Stammen with 2 doubles.
Well, Craig Stammen would like nothing more than to throw that sinker away and Miguel Montero roll over it to second base.
Two and 0.
Lots of long looks going on right now. Montero checking out his third base coach, getting a sign. I don't think they'd hit around here. You never know.
Craig Stammen not throwing a strike. Missed on 4 in a row, 2 on, nobody out. Montero on base for the 4th straight time.
Well, in the 5th inning, Trumbo led off with a walk. Miguel Montero singled, and Jordan Pacheco came up and sacrificed them both to second and third. And then Jake Lamb came up and hit a sac fly to center field. So we'll see if Kirk Gibson does the same thing right here. It's the same characters, different inning. This might be one where if you get a bad bunt, you can get the lead out at third base. Trumbo runs decent enough, but he's not a burner.
And now LaRoche comes charging from first. Just kind of playing behind the baseline a little bit. And Adam had to kind of veer around Miguel Montero to start making his way toward home. Bob Davidson not giving Stammen the call. Nats thought it was 0-2. It's an even count.
Now just a little bit outside. Pacheco pulls it back. And I'm watching the bunt play that the Nats have on right now. Stammen's breaking off the mound toward third. Just in case that it's an errant bunt in that direction, you think Pacheco's going to bunt this to Rendon. But if he doesn't get it down the line, Stammen will have a chance to get the lead out. It's up to the third baseman to read it. Either come field or get back to the bag and cover.
And he swings away.
interesting move by Kirk Gibson. A lot of managers would have kept the bunt on right there and been satisfied with second and third one out.
Yeah, kind of late to put it back on now, isn't it?
And you could, but you wouldn't think they would.
1-2 with nobody out. Fastball way inside.
Well, I know it goes against a lot of sabermetrics and analytics, but in the 11th inning of a tie game, first and second, nobody out, I'm butting 99 times out of 100.
Well, and here's another thing. You have your closer still available as the visiting team. You get one run, you know, you're looking for him to shut the door.
Well, I'm just playing for one. That's why I bunt two guys over, and you might get two. And you just can't believe that they took the bunt off, especially when it worked so successfully in the 5th. Same guys.
2-2. And now Stammen's got to throw a strike. The Nats have given up an uncharacteristic 5 bases on balls tonight. 3 by Jordan Zimmerman, which he never does, and 2 of those scored.
Try and get that ground ball working the bottom of the zone.
That's a base hit to right. Worth will charge it on a hop. The bases are loaded with Diamondbacks. 2 hits around the walk in the inning. And Craig Stammen now has to deal with the rookie Jake Lamb.
Well, he just takes the 3-2 slider and serves it to Rice. Nice piece of hitting by Pacheco. And the Diamonds are in business. Diamondbacks are in business big time. Bases loaded, nobody out. Still would have bunted.
Agreed.
So 2, 3, 4 due up for the Nats in the bottom of the 11th. And it's going to be interesting to see what Matt Williams does with his middle infield right here. Bases loaded, nobody out. Corners should be in. And I think Desmond and Cabrera are going to read the speed of the ball and kind of play it a halfway. If it's not hit hard enough, well, they're going to come all the way in. Let's see how they play it.
Jake Lamb tonight 0 for 2, sac fly and a walk. Facing Stammen for the first time. One of his better fastballs. 93 right to the outside edge.
Needs a strikeout or a pop-up big time.
'87. Getting the slider down for the foul tip. 0-2.
Well, it's so key for him to get strike one because then he goes right to his slider, and it's the disappearing slider we've seen for 3 years now that hitters can't pick up. Tough to pick up the rotation. See hitter after hitter convinced that it's a fastball and swing over the top. Won't be surprised if he goes to it again right here, even an 0-2 count.
And Ramos finds it at the feet of the umpire, Bob Davidson.
They went right back to it. Good block by Ramos. just gets the tip of his glove on it. That had 5-hole written all over it.
Lamb not a power guy. Contact hitter. Swing and a miss. Stammen with 87 for a big first down.
Huge. They're digging it. It's exactly what the doctor ordered right there. Now you're one pitch away. Get a ground ball, though you have to deal with that guy, Didi Gregorius, a guy who can run. You'd think the play would be at the plate right here. Let's see how they do it in the infield. I don't know that you can turn a double play on this guy, but stranger things have happened.
Number 8 guy, Cliff Pennington in the on-deck circle for the pitcher. And Gregorius can't get the Stammen fastball.
Strike one. See if he goes back to that slider.
Gregorius against Stammen career 1 for 1 with a single. Had him reaching. Braves have won their ball game at Pittsburgh. They scored 6 in the first. So at the moment, 5.5. The spread pending this outcome.
7 in a row for the Pirates. Boy, after those first 2 swings, to even mess around with the slider.
Oh-2 pitch. Got him! 85!
And the answer is yes.
Two down.
Craig Stammen 2/3 of the way to another Houdiniac with the bases loaded. Great slider right there. 2 fastballs away. Slider down and in, and another big strikeout. 2 in a row after loading him up with nobody out.
Infielder Cliff Pennington, 2 for 10 as a pinch hitter. He's 0 for 1 career against Craig Stammen. And a bouncing ball to Cabrera.
How about that?
Bases loaded, nobody out, and Stammen slams the door shut. Taking momentum into the dugout when it looked like that might be it. Calls there in the top of the 11th inning. Ice water in the veins to be a relief pitcher in this day and age.
It's just an unbelievable job of bowing your neck when it looks like it's going to be a huge inning for the Diamondbacks, and this one's going to get away. He goes strikeout, ground out to get out of a bases loaded, nobody out jam. Unbelievable effort by Craig Stammen, and we got another classic on our hands. Oh, I said enjoy the ride, yeah. But you better wear your helmet.
Anthony Rendon got this game back even for the Nats in the 8th inning. Span had doubled, and they both went the other way.
Well, Tony 2 bags goes Tony 3 bags right here down the right field line. That scored Denard Span. He goes head first into third base. And sent this crowd into a frenzy here at Nats Park. They've been loud, they've been into it, and they've been cheering all night long.
Will Harris called up today for the right side of their bullpen. He's a waiver pickup by the Diamondbacks from the A's first week of April this year.
Got 2 pitches, fastball, curveball. Fastball 91-92, curveball 79-80.
Some of the Nats have faced him before. Anthony Rendon's 1-for-1 against him. His numbers at AAA this year with a great ERA. 29-year-old right-hander Will Harris. Fastball. Rendon slaps it out to right. David Peralta, 1 out. That'll bring in Jason Worth. In 1 plate appearance against Harris, base on balls.
Well, he was a big-time hero yesterday in extra innings. Off the bench.
Jason tonight 1 for 3, a base hit. Sac fly, his 64th RBI. That thing cutting just outside. The big man, 6'4", 225, Will Harris. Another LSU guy in college. And a good take by Worth on the breaking ball.
I'd be pumping on a heater if it's a strike right here. Bet on that.
Two and one, and he misses. And that ball straight back into the stone.
It was just enough cut at the very end to get it off worst barrel. But he was right on that, had a healthy 3-1 hack, and that subtle little slide of the cutter at the end was the difference. The ball just kind of moved right off the barrel.
3-2, and Worth strikes out on a pitch up. It'll be up to Adam LaRoche.
You see that pitch right there that Jason just swung at? You never see him swing at in a 3-2 count. And it gets back to my point that you want to be the hero at home. You want to be the guy that walks him off. And he's done it enough times to know what he was doing. But he was thinking, hey, he's coming back with that 3-1 pitch again. I'm going to hit this in the stands, and we're all going home.
Adam LaRoche's 1-for-1 career against Will Harris. Well, he does throw an off-speed pitch, just misses.
You wonder if they really want to challenge Adam LaRoche with a fastball right here. You know, back-to-back curveballs. And a 2-out walk to a guy with 18 home runs left-handed isn't the worst thing in the world. Even though you have 20 home runs on deck, it's in the form of a right-hander. And we'll see what they do here. I'd be shocked if they give him anything to hit.
Ian Desmond is 0 for 2 career against this righty. LaRoche, right field. See you later. Game winner. The Nats do it again. First time they've ever walked off 3 in a row at home. Viva LaRoche.
Unbelievable. The last 3 games have been simply unbelievable. He threw him a 3-1 curveball. He caught it out in front. His 19th home run of the year, and it was the biggest one yet. 17 games over 500, and they keep their 6-game lead against the Braves. It's happening, folks. It's happening.
You're starting to say that every day.
Yeah, hey, something special going on in D.C. right now. It's what everybody's been waiting for all year. Watch the pitch. 3-1 curveball just rolls in there right onto the barrel. LaRoche catches it out front. It was a no-doubter. And, folks, we're going home.
Adam LaRoche doesn't show a lot of emotion. He's going to get an ice bath and a whole lot of pounding from his teammates. That's number 19, RBI number 67. The last time there had been 3 walk-off wins in this organization, they were still in Montreal.
I just don't know why they pitched to him right there. It's not like he's going to get on and steal a base. He's a guy that's been clutch all year. He's got so much pop. You thought they'd go for the right-on-right matchup. They didn't, and it cost him.
Dan Kolkel with Adam LaRoche.
Thank you, Bob. Adam, 3 walk-off wins in the last 3 days. How do you describe the ride these last few days?
You don't. This has been the wildest 3 days of ball I've ever been involved with. Just some crazy games, some lead changes every other inning, and just keep battling back. So it says a lot about this team. Keep grinding through it and finding ways to win ball games.
What does it tell you about this team that you guys have had so much success in the late innings in those crucial situations down the stretch?
Well, this is nice going, late in the season. One being in a playoff hunt here, trying to gain some more ground on the rest of the division, and just building character for October. So we're going to ride it out as long as we can.
You get ahead in the count there in that situation. What are you looking for?
Not the curveball, just kind of a reaction there. He left it up and got some decent wood on it. So we'll take it. Thanks, man.
Thank you, Adam. Bob, back up to you.
Yeah, I'd call that decent wood. Slamming it off the facade of the second deck here, and the Nationals are on some kind of roll. Season high 7-game winning streak, and 5 of them now have been 1-run games. And as FP said, they stay up 6 on the Braves. There's more tomorrow, folks. Strasburg and Chase Anderson, 6:30 Nats Extra. This has been a presentation of Masson. Stay tuned now. Johnny and Ray, Nats Extra. They may need more than a half hour. See you